The night my father stripped my name off the company letterhead, he had no idea I'd already become the ghost that owned him. My name is Tyler Graves, and for 28 years, I believed in family above everything. My grandfather started Graves Industrial Supply in 1967. By the time I was born, it was pulling in $40 million a year, supplying construction materials to contractors across 6 states. Dad ran it. Uncle Vincent handled sales. My older brother Garrett handled the golf course mostly. I was different. While Garrett partied through college, I studied supply chain management and contract law. While he vacationed in Cancun, I spent summers in our warehouses, learning every product code, every supplier relationship, every contract clause. Dad would pat my shoulder and say, "Tyler, you're the backbone of this family." I believed him. At 24, I revolutionized our distribution system, cutting costs by 18%. At 26, I landed the Morrison account, a $12 million deal that became our biggest client. At 27, I restructured our supplier contracts, building relationships that would have taken anyone else a decade. I didn't do it for glory. I did it because I loved them. I loved walking into that building every morning. I loved the smell of industrial metal and treated lumber. I loved seeing 3 generations of work thriving because I was part of it. Then I met Sienna. She was Dad's new consultant, brought in to modernize our image. 29, sharp as a blade, with an MBA from Cornell and a smile that could sell sand in a desert. Dad was obsessed with her ideas. My Uncle Vincent called her a genius. Even Garrett, who never paid attention to business, suddenly started attending meetings. I found her impressive too at first, but I noticed things. She'd ask specific questions about my contracts, about my supplier relationships, about which clients were personally loyal to me versus loyal to the Graves name. Just trying to understand the ecosystem, she'd say. I gave her everything, because that's what you do for family business, right? You trust. The knife came on a Tuesday. Dad called a special board meeting. Mom was there, Uncle Vincent, Garrett, Sienna, our lawyer Thompson. I walked in smiling, holding the Riverside contract I'd just closed. $8 million over 3 years. Dad wouldn't look at me. "Tyler, sit down," he said. The room felt wrong. Mom's eyes were red. Yeah, Garrett looked smug. Sienna sat perfectly still, taking notes. "We've made a decision," Dad continued. "Effective immediately, you're being removed from all operational duties." The words didn't register at first. "What?" "You're out," Uncle Vincent said flatly. "No management role, no contract authority, no client contact." My heart started hammering. "Is this a joke?" Garrett leaned back in his chair. "It's business, little brother. Nothing personal." "Nothing personal?" I looked at Dad. "What are you talking about? I just landed Riverside. I run supplier relations. You've become a liability," Sienna interrupted, her voice calm and clinical. "We've identified multiple inefficiencies in your department, contracts that favor suppliers over company interests. There are personal relationships that compromise negotiating power." I stared at her. "I built those relationships. They're why we have leverage. They're why we're bleeding money," she said, sliding a folder across the table. Inside were my contracts, annotated with red marks, twisted interpretations, selective data that made my cost savings look like waste. It was a hatchet job, a professional assassination. "This isn't insane," I whispered. "Dad, you know what I've done for this company." "You know what I know about," Dad said, and his voice was ice, "is that family or not, I can't let sentiment destroy 3 generations of work. You're done, Tyler. You're keeping me on though, right? Just different role. You're out," Garrett repeated. "Completely. Clean break." Uncle Vincent slid a paper toward me. "Severance, 60,000. Madam, sign it, and we can all move on." 60,000 for a decade of my life, for millions in revenue I generated, for every early morning, every late night, every weekend I'd given them. "And if I don't sign," Thompson, the lawyer, spoke for the first time, "then we terminate you for cause based on the inefficiencies documented in Ms. Sienna's report. No severance, and we'll pursue legal action for breach of fiduciary duty." They had me cornered. Sienna met my eyes, and for just a second, I saw it. Satisfaction. This wasn't about efficiency. This was a coup. I signed. What choice did I have? Mom hugged me in the parking lot, crying, saying she was outvoted. I didn't believe her. If she'd fought for me, I'd still be inside. I called friends in the industry. Word had spread fast. Sorry, man. We heard there were problems at Graves. Can't take the risk. Sienna had poisoned the well. I spent 6 weeks in my apartment, watching my savings drain, watching LinkedIn posts of Garrett celebrating new leadership directions, watching my life's work continue without me. Then I got a call from Leonard Chen. Leonard ran Chen and Associates, one of our top 3 suppliers. He'd been my father's friend for 20 years. Tyler, I heard what happened. I'm sorry. Thanks, Leonard. Listen, I don't believe their version. You were always straight with me. I want you to know I kept detailed records. Records? Of every conversation I had with that consultant, Sienna. My pulse quickened. She approached me 6 months ago, Leonard continued. But they asked me to verify what percentage of our contracts were dependent on your personal relationships versus the Graves name. I thought it was odd, but she said it was for internal assessment. So 6 months. She'd been planning this for 6 months. Tyler, I can't get involved officially, but I thought you should know. Whatever she's doing, it didn't start last month. After I hung up, I sat in the dark for a long time. Then I opened my laptop, and I started digging. Here's what nobody knew. When I restructured those supplier contracts 3 years ago, I didn't just negotiate better terms. I made myself essential. Every major contract, Chen, Morrison, Riverside, Dakota Industrial, Pemberton Supply, all of them had a clause I'd personally drafted, a key personnel clause. It stated that if I was removed from account management, the supplier had the right to renegotiate terms or terminate within 90 days. It was standard protection. I'd included it to ensure I couldn't be pushed out by some future MBA who didn't understand relationships. I'd included it to protect myself, and I'd never told anyone. Graves Industrial had 63 active contracts. I'd personally negotiated 41 of them. 37 had my clause. Those 37 represented 72% of annual revenue. I made a spreadsheet, then I made phone calls. I didn't rush. I waited exactly 30 days after my termination. Then I started reaching out. Not as a competitor, not as someone angry, just as a friend checking in. Hey, Leonard, just wanted to see how things are going with the new team. Hi, Michelle. You heard you're working with Garrett now on the Morrison account. How's that transition? Every single person said the same thing. It's different. We miss your attention to detail, Tyler. Garrett doesn't seem to understand our supply constraints. Sienna's very focused on cost cutting. We're worried about quality. I listened, I sympathized, and I waited. 60 days after my termination, Leonard called. Tyler, I'm invoking the key personnel clause. I'm giving Graves notice that I'm renegotiating our contract. Are you sure, Leonard? That Sienna tried to pressure me into lowering prices by 15%. She doesn't understand that we're already at margin. I'm done. 1 week later, Morrison followed. Then Riverside, then Dakota. Within 90 days, 22 suppliers had invoked the clause. The Graves Industrial was hemorrhaging contracts. I got a call from Uncle Vincent. What did you do? He screamed. I don't work there anymore, remember? You sabotaged us. I negotiated contracts that protected relationship-based business. You removed the relationship. That's not sabotage. That's consequence. He hung up. I smiled, but I wasn't done. 3 months after my termination, I got a call from Thompson, the family lawyer. Tyler, your father wants to meet. Tell him I'm busy. Tyler, the company's in trouble. Good. They're losing contracts faster than they can replace them. Revenue's down 40%. They want to offer you a position back, full reinstatement, profit sharing. I let the silence hang. Tell them I'll think about it. I didn't think about it. I'd already made my move. See? While they were panicking about lost contracts, I'd been busy. I'd formed my own company, Apex Supply Solutions. I'd partnered with Leonard, with Michelle from Morrison, with 8 other suppliers who'd left Graves. And I'd offered something Graves never could: equity partnerships, profit sharing, respect. Within 4 months, Apex had captured 18 of Graves's former clients. We were pulling in $3 million a month, and we were just getting started. But here's the twist they never saw coming. 6 months after my termination, Dad called me personally. "Tyler, please, we were going under. Your brother, he doesn't know what he's doing. Sienna's strategy failed. We need you." "You chose them," I said quietly. "I made a mistake. Son, please." "Yeah, this is our family legacy. You chose a consultant you knew for 6 months over a son who gave you a decade. That tells me everything about what family means to you." "Tyler, I'll make you an offer, Dad, one time. Graves Industrial merges with Apex. I take majority control. You and Uncle Vincent retain advisory positions. Garrett gets nothing. Sienna gets fired and blacklisted. Take it or liquidate." Silence. "You'd destroy your grandfather's legacy?" "No, Dad, I'd save it. You already destroyed it. I'm just cleaning up the mess." He took the deal. 3 weeks later, Graves Industrial became a subsidiary of Apex Supply Solutions. I walked back into that building as majority owner. Sienna was escorted out by security that same day. Garrett tried to negotiate. Meant I had HR hand him the same severance package they'd offered me, $60,000. He didn't take it well. Today, Apex Supply Solutions does $80 million a year. Dad comes in twice a week, mostly for appearances. Uncle Vincent retired. Mom and I have dinner sometimes. She apologized. I'm still deciding if I forgive her. Garrett works for a mid-sized distributor in another state. We don't talk. I saw Sienna's LinkedIn recently. She's a freelance consultant now. No major clients listed. Sometimes people ask if I feel guilty. I don't. They taught me that family means nothing when money's involved. So I treated them like they treated me. Like business. In business? Business. I'm very good at. The night they banned me from the family business, they thought they were cutting dead weight. They didn't realize they were cutting their own throat. And I didn't stop them. I just waited until they bled out. Then I bought the corpse.